Good afternoon, happy Sunday and welcome to Racing WA TV today. On a beautiful Sunday here in the Kalgoorlie region, the Kalgoorlie Boulder Racing Club, bringing you all the action today. There's 7 races to be run and won here live. My name is Tessa Daly and joining me as our form analyst is Matt French today. We'll also be covering all the action up on the north part of the state. We go to Broome as well today for a 6-race program up there, and no doubt the weather's a little bit different to what it is here. It's quite chilly here today, Maddie. It's about, I think it's about 15 degrees, I believe, but the feels like temperature is what gets me every single time. We got off the plane today and it feels like about 6 or 7 degrees, I think, but a lot different to what it was in Carnarvon where I was on Friday, but set to be a great day of racing.
Hopefully it is a good day of racing today. You're right, it is a bit of a chilly day out here today, but not as bad as last week, as I've heard from quite a few people back home in Perth. But no, looking forward to a good 7-race program here today, as well as what we have up in Broome as well. Like you've said, there's been a lot of racing on in the last few days here in Perth. So we've had Roebourne yesterday, Carnarvon on Friday, and we even had some of the midweek racing as well up and around the state. So we've got 2 today and looking forward to 13 races.
Big weekend indeed. And for yourself too, Maddie, you were tipping in really good form at Roebourne yesterday. 6 races for 5 winners, and I believe the one that didn't win was your best bet of the day.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Always, but just a little bit unlucky in running. So I'm sure he'll be able to follow that up next meeting. We've got 13 races you're going to be tipping us plenty of winners in. What are some of your better bets on the program today at Kalgoorlie?
Yeah, hopefully we can do something similar to what I was able to do yesterday, but I'm not promising anything. Today at Kalgoorlie, I think it's a really competitive program of racing. I do like feuding race 6, number 2. It came out and won under the 61.5 kilos for Peter Fernie and Lucy Fiore 2 weeks ago, and she was able to get it out of some trouble and hit the line really strongly. I think it's going to be a very similar case here today. I think it's going to be very hard to beat. And up at Broome, race 6, number 4, Magna Burma. I think it just sets up beautifully for this horse. It meets a very similar field and a very similar race shape, and if it was able to win last start, I'm not too sure how it's going to get beaten today. But having said that, I think it is a very competitive program up at Broome, and it was pretty hard to find a best bet. So there will be a few out there today, and even at Kalgoorlie, where I think we can play some each way quotes around as well.
Bit of fun to be had for sure. I know about that, and really excited as well. Whenever you tip feuding, I know you and Riley have both had him as your best recently. He's one of my favourite gallopers. If you constantly tune in on Racing WA TV, I'm sure you'd know that, and you follow our socials. Love seeing him go around. He's a beautiful horse. We know how much he loves Kalgoorlie as well. His track record is second to none really out here, and it's an exciting race for him, but it's also exciting, as we were chatting earlier as well, about the big hypes for Kalgoorlie. The rail is out at the 10-metre mark today, but they've done a fantastic job with so much racing that we've had here. We've raced here every Sunday for the last month, including today, and then after today we then look to go to fortnight meetings, which will be great for the track, but it has held in very good stead. How do we see the track playing out?
It has held in good stead, and we have to remember that we also lost the first meeting at Kalgoorlie here as well because of the state of the track, and it wasn't able to get enough water on in those off months here. So the track staff and the rest of the team, have just done a really good job to be able to get this track really nice and playing well. Rail at 10, it's a pretty rare spot for the track here at Kalgoorlie. I think it will be playing fairly on pace that we do normally see here at Kalgoorlie. We do note that it was 10 metres a few meetings ago, and that was when it had really soft conditions. There was a bit of rain around, and horses were able to make up a fair bit of ground that day. I'm putting that down more to the amount of water on the track than the actual rail position. So, as always at Kalgoorlie, I'll be thinking that you would need to be up on pace.
It is a little bit overcast, as you would notice when we do look on camera, but I don't believe we're set to get any rain here today. So conditions have been really good. They've had 15 mil on the track in irrigation over the last 7 days, and believe that it's at a good 4 right now, so in really good order. As mentioned, the rail is out at the 10-metre mark. Runners are still yet to join the yard ahead of race number 1, the Boulder Cup Day, September the 21st September, I've just said that. The maiden over the 1,200 metres. In the first here, 9 horses go around. How do we see things playing out?
They do go around, and Peter Fernie's got a really strong hold of this race. I saw markets go up early, and I think I saw around 240 for Lavish Charm. I thought that was a fairly good market position for that galloper. I then came on course this morning and saw that it's now into $1.45. So there's well and truly been good market support. It comes out of a Northern Maiden, and as Peter mentioned on Racing Radio this morning, those horses that come from a Northern Maiden, if they can generally hold that form, they're pretty hard to beat here at Kalgoorlie. And look, I'm certainly putting him on top, but I wasn't expecting to see $1.45 next to his name, that's for certain.
First time out at Kalgoorlie as well today. Pete Fernie just had the one winner last meeting, but he saddles up a very impressive team this week.
He does. He's got a stranglehold on this card, let alone this race. We've seen our tipster friend in Scotty Embry's tipped him to the card today, so we'll see how that one goes. But look, he's got a strong hand. He's been his camp have been going superbly all season, and the combination between him and Lucy Fiore and even Tash Faithful as well have just really proven to be beneficial all this season down here.
Absolutely, but runners have now entered the yard ahead of race number 1 here at the Kalgoorlie Boulder Racing Club today, ahead of a 7-race program. So we'll begin our preview with A Whim Away. Brett Drury trains, Keshaw Duran takes the ride.
And A Whim Away is now a 19-start maiden and had got closer to a few starts when running consecutive seconds back here in April. He just hasn't had much luck at his last two. We've got the 4-kilo claiming apprentice Natika going on his last start when she was caught wide from a tricky gate and just really failed to work into the race behind Quick Cookie and King of France that day. He should position better in running here and gets a much nicer, a much softer run in transit, just behind a little bit of pace, as I do expect there to be in this race. But with two of the more progressive maidens going around here today that I've probably seen this season, I think it's a bit of a tall order here for A Whim Away. And
the 2 is the current Tab Touch favourite. First start here at Kalgoorlie, Lavish Charm. Peter Fernie, Tash Faithful.
Comes here after 2 starts this preparation in the provincial area, and they've both been full of merit. First up, I think he should have probably have won behind My Harv at Pinjarra. He wasn't able to get much running room before the 200-metre mark and hit the line really strongly and got to within a length of that winner. Last start, as I've mentioned, he sat last at Northam. He made up good ground, but just wasn't able to get past his former stablemate in Nikiana. Today, barrier 3, Tash Faithful going on. This is a great setup. He can sit behind the leading pair if they don't decide to go to the lead themselves and just peel out on a straightening. It's a good setup. I think he's going to be very tough to beat, but $1.45 certainly is short enough.
The 3, the stablemate, hoping to go one better today, the Sharerghini. Peter Fernie, Lucy Fiore.
And it is first up for the yard 7 days ago. When going around favourite here at Kalgoorlie, he was able to lead them up that day. He did have a nice kick on straightening, but was just ultimately run down by Alabama Elegance, who had the sit on him that day. He'll certainly appreciate the hit out for having that run. He stays at the 1,200 metres, which is a positive. Interesting to see what Lucy does here today, though, from that gate. I'm not sure she finds the front as easy as she did last start, with a little bit more pace drawn to her inside. But I also don't think the Sharerghini is a bit of a one-trick pony either. I won't be surprised to see Lucy trying to even get him into a bit of a trailing spot, just to see wherever he's comfortable. There's a bit of diversity around there, and if Lavish Charm wasn't in this, I think Sharerghini would be very hard to beat.
The 4 is the other stablemate. Pete Fernie saddles up 3 runners here in the opener. Our Desperado with Baden Gareth taking the ride.
And it was an improved effort last start. His 3rd outing and first time at Kalgoorlie. And like you've just mentioned, he's found a new home here with the Fernie yard. He fought on well behind Purple Circle, who fought him off very early on. But to his credit, he really never gave it up that day. Today, for Braden, he's drawn well. He can utilise a nice gate, and he can definitely be an improver and go forward.
The 5 is Macho Araquero. Philippa Elliott, Holly Noddle.
Is on the 4-day backup for the Philippa Elliott yard, and while he has been beaten by some big margins to date, this is also the easiest race that he's seen. He comes out of Class 1 company at Northam, returns to maiden grade at Kalgoorlie, the blinkers go on, and the 4-kilo claimer takes a ride. So there's certainly enough positives there for me to understand why Philippa has backed him up. It's a nice setup. I just wish I'd probably seen him do a little bit more last start in that Class 1, but can run a nice race here at nice odds.
The 6 is Lasting Legacies. Jim Taylor, Jefferson Sang.
Comes here first up with a nice trial, but that was back on the 9th of June. He was following I was about to say favourite in the Sharerghini, but the market has well and truly flipped from when I did this form, and from that all the way in that trial, he just wasn't fully extended by Jason Brown on that occasion. Barrier 4 today for Lasting Legacies. I think the Taylor yard will be wanting to utilise that 4-kilo claim there by Jefferson, take him straight to the front or take him really up on pace and see if they can catch him. His previous preparation, I thought, saw him go around in much stronger company in town than what he meets here today. And while the Sharerghini does have that run under his belt compared to Lasting Legacies when they met at the trial, I was surprised at the difference in the quote in the market.
The next horse to preview is the 7, Cocoon Girl. The blinkers come off for the first time today. Helen Harding, Zephyr Johnston Porter.
And has had 2 starts at Kalgoorlie this season and definitely hasn't disgraced herself at all. She finished 2 lengths behind Striker's Girl and Vervain, and then last start she simply just got too far back in running to be able to impact in the final furlong. As you've mentioned, Tess, the blinkers come off here. It should settle just worse of midfield, but I do expect the pace to be on here and she could possibly improve.
The 8 is Rose All Day, Kerry Martin, Alex Hearn.
Was able to run second here back in May, and the camp then took her to a Bunbury 3-year-old maiden with a fair bit more depth than what she meets here today, and she was well beaten behind a number of likely city horses on what was a pretty soft going track as well. She can certainly improve off that effort. They get her back on top of the ground here at Kalgoorlie and also gets a barrier to work with.
And rounding out the 9-horse field here in the opener is Pretty in Pearls, John Mason, apologies, and Natika Riordan.
It's all right, we've got 13 more races to get through, Tess. There will be a few more mistakes, I'm sure, but Pretty in Pearls has just been grinding away, I found, in her 8-start career to date. They've chosen to come back in distance today instead of keeping her at the mile to try and find some improvement, and with the 4-kilo claim she only gets in here with the 52 kilos. Does make it difficult from the wide gate though, and will probably just be grinding away.
Runners are all behind the barriers now, yet to start moving in, so we'll take a look at the market. Lavish Charm is the favourite. First start out here for Peter Fernie on the Kalgoorlie surface is $2.50 into $1.45. Hoping to get Pete on the board early, as well as Tash Faithful today. No doubt Tash Faithful will be very short in the Jockey Challenge margin as well on today's program. The Sharerghini, the stablemate, is on the second line of betting after opening $1.80. Now out to $3.10. Our Desperado, the other of the stablemates, is $10 out to $16. Lasting Legacies, $14 out to $17. A Whim Away is $14 out to $31. Macho Arquero is at $23, Cocoon Girl $26, Pretty in Pearls $31, and Rose All Day $61. Maddie, how are we seeing things play out in the opener?
I've gone 2, 3, 6 and 4 in the first here. Lavish Charm on top. I think it looks a great setup for him here, and he's going to be tough to beat. As I mentioned though, the market has well and truly fanned him out here, so he's really short for a race of this nature, especially considering the stablemate, which is the 3 in the Sharerghini. I thought he was good first up here last week, but this does have a little bit of a different race shape for him, and it meets a pretty handy one in Lavish Charm. 6 in Lasting Legacies in for third. I didn't mind its trial behind the Sharerghini and is drawn to play a part here. If I like the Sharerghini, I have to like Lasting Legacies at a nice each way quote. And 4, our Desperado. I thought it improved at its first start here in Kalgoorlie before. So 2, 3, 6 and 4. And while I do expect Lavish Charm to be pretty hard to beat, you'd have to be pretty brave, I'd imagine, to jump in at the $1.45 mark. 2,
3, 6 and 4 here for Maddie in the opener. The Boulder Cup Day, September 21st, maiden over the 1200 metres. 2 on top, Lavish Charm, very, very well supported in the market. $2.50 into $1.40 now on the Tab Touch market. Maddie, runners are still about to make their way into the barriers. It's a very big opportunity again today for some of our 4-kilo claiming apprentices, should I say now 3-kilo claiming apprentices. We'll touch on this a little bit later throughout the day, but Holly Knottle, Jefferson Sang and Bailey Webster all in the last couple of days have outridden their 4-kilo claims. Natika Riordan 1 ride away from doing so as well.
It was great to see Bailey be able to knock the 4-kilo claim yesterday at Roebourne with a double, and as you've mentioned, we've got a few of these apprentices really starting to get through the number of wins required and getting a little bit more experience, so we'll hopefully be able to get another one on the board here today, and it's just great to see them progressing through the early stages of their apprenticeships.
Natika Riordan with a very good opportunity with science degree a little bit later on today's program, so fingers crossed for her, but runners are making their way in very nicely now, so we'll hand you upstairs and say a very good afternoon to Royce Newton, who'll be calling home all the action today at the Kalgoorlie Boulder Racing Club.
Thanks, Tess. Yes, good afternoon to you and Matt and everybody on course. Runners coming forward well here for the Boulder Cup Day, September 21st maiden. Of course, this is the Blue Spec race day. Big thanks to Murray and Nick Black for sponsoring the card as Macho Aguero goes forward. Holly Knottle in the saddle, 4-kilo claimer. And now going forward, Pretty in Pearls, Cocoon Girl will be the last to come forward. Thanks, Soph, as Tab Radio join us here for the first. It is the Boulder Cup Day, September 21st, maiden, and we're set at the 1200. Stand by, ready to fly. Off racing in the first. Now Macho Aquero just reared when the gates opened and went back early on, together with a Weem Away. Pretty in Pearls is going to settle down in the second half as well. It's Rose all day with early speed. Pushing forward around the outside, we've got the Sharerghini, and there's the favourite Lavish Charm to be sitting handy to the speed. They were followed a length and a half then to Lasting Legacies. On the outside of Our Desperado, who gets into a nice position as they leave the 800 metres behind them. They were followed next of all to the outside, Pretty in Pearls, who's covering additional ground between runners Cocoon Girl and a Weem Away. Second last the fence, and a further 2 to Macho Aquero. 5.50 to run on the Charles Street side of the course, and it's a Sharerghini for Fiore, who shows the way a half a length. Now this favourite stalking the leader, Lavish Charm, starting to extend on the point of the turn. They were followed by Lasting Legacies 3 wide, trying to get out now. Our Desperado, Rose all day sticking to the fence. They were followed by a Weem Away, and then we had down the outside Cocoon Girl, but inside the final 200, and it's the Sharerghini who's finding another gear. Lavish Charm the outside trying to balance up, but the Sharerghini doing it well. Now coming Lavish Charm, but the Sharerghini holding on in the run to the line. They hit it, and the Sharerghini has defeated Lavish Charm. They were followed in next of all by Our Desperado, the inside to Macho Aquero, followed by Lasting Legacies. Then we had a Weem Away, further back to Cocoon Girl, Rose all day, and one of the last was Pretty in Pearls, who covered additional ground. The Sharerghini has denied this short price favourite Lavish Charm, and it's a Peter Fernie Quinella, but not in the way the market had these two. Of course, Lavish Charm sent out at $1.40, had every possible chance to reel in the Sharerghini, who returns $2.50 and $1.20. Lavish Charm at $1.04. I fancied the 4, Our Desperado, for third at $2.80. And getting fourth will be the 6. That's Lasting Legacy. So the interim numbers 3, 2, 4 and 6, a neck by 3 1/4. They really gapped the rest, this Quinella, across the line. But it's going to be the Sharerghini who gets the job done by All-American from Arctic Aura. Trained by Peter Fernie, Lucy Fiore in the saddle, and owned by C. Dunlop and Miss R. Skinner. Second across the line was the 2, Lavish Charm, by Extravagant from Celebrity Miss, trained by Peter Fernie, Tash Faithful in the saddle, and owned by Andrew Ingalls. Third in, we had the 4, Our Desperado for Pete Fernie, so it's a Pete Fernie trifecta. Braden Garth in the saddle by Zoostar from Alice's Smart, owned by the Ridgeport Syndicate, and 6 Lasting Legacies in fourth. So those numbers there, 3, 2, 4 and 6 after the running of the first. Race 2 is next. That is the Blue Spec David Ripper Memorial Maiden. Your favourite is Reliable Image at $1.85. In the meantime, we'll go down to the yard and catch up with Tess.
Thanks, Royce. I've got Pete Fernie here after training the trifecta here in the opener. You had the 3 runners go around. Pete, how did you see things ordering out early?
Oh, the other one had a good run in front, rail out at 10. They're pretty hard to pick up normally in a day like today with that rail out there. Thought the other little horse having his first start for me was good, and I thought Our Desperado was pretty good as well. So they all ran really well. I was happy with all of them.
Great result here. The Sharerghini, where do you look to now? It was a nice run into second last start here. First up, where do you look now?
I'm not sure yet. The owner's a bit of a form student, so he'll tell me where it's going. He thinks he knows everything, so we'll have to find out.
You've got a very big team in today and a very competitive one as well. Really tricky question, I know. I always ask you, what's one of your best on today's program for us?
I most probably like Feuding later on. I think he's a nice horse.
Congratulations here. We'll chat to you throughout the day, no doubt.
Thank you.
There's Pete Fernie. Lucy Fiore storms into the first box just then, but great to see Luce on the board this weekend.
It was very quick, wasn't it? She's got a really good book of rides here with the Peter Fernie combination, does Lucy Fiore. I think I've just gone through her rides here today, and the worst price rider that she's on is paying $4.60. So she is going to be in for a very big day, and this may not be the first time that we speak to Lucy here today, but she just took all luck out of the equation. Second up here, had that little bit of race fitness, and like I mentioned, Lavish Charm got absolutely smashed into bedding, but the Sharerghini, there was absolutely nothing wrong with its first up performance, and just with the rail at 10, as Peter said, Lucy, you took luck out of the equation, straight to the front, and they couldn't catch you.
Yeah, for sure, and I think having the race last time, only a week ago, he was much stronger today.
He certainly was. Do you think that's kind of on the edge of his distance limit at the moment, or is he still learning what the caper's about?
I think he's still learning. I think and he'll get over further. He's still leggy. He didn't change strides as much today, and he was way more stronger late. Last time I hit him at the 100, and I just felt like I cost him because he just got a bit tired, and I probably didn't support him enough, so I chose not to hit him this time. And yeah, he's still learning, but he's, I think he has a bit of ability.
You certainly pulled the right rein there. Best of the rest. Are you going to be able to put us into any of them?
I never pick one, but Pete's team looks good today, so yeah, we'll see how we go.
It certainly does. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's Lucy Fiore combining with Peter Fernie and the Sharerghini taking out the Boulder Cup Day, September 21st maiden over the 1200 metres. Had the lucky colours on too by the look of it, the four-leaf clover throughout, and got the win today, breaking maiden status here over the 1200 metres. Pete Fernie trains the trifecta in the opener, 3, 2, 4 and 6 with the numbers here. Set to be a very big day on Racing WA TV, so don't go too far away.